Hello, everybody. Charles from GMAT Ninja here with one of my very favorite people in admissions world, Donna Bauman, Senior Admissions Counselor at Stratus Admissions, also a longtime veteran of admissions committees. So she has managed Waitlist. Today, we're going to talk about what it means to get waitlisted. Our starting point for this is kind of as you get into the time of year when people are getting waitlisted, we see a lot of really sad faces coming in, either looking for tutoring or from our former students who already did tutoring. And they take getting waitlisted as an insult, like, oh no, I'm just waitlisted, I didn't get in. And we understand the disappointment, but what we keep hearing from folks like Donna and from schools themselves is that being waitlisted isn't quite the insult or the affront that it feels like. So Donna, I'd love to start there. So when a school puts you on the waitlist,
Right.
what are they really saying about you and about your candidacy?
Well, I mean, it's a very competitive process. So making it to the wait list there's a lot of people who are on the, outright ding list that would love to be in your shoes right there. And it means that there's still quite a bit of hope, and there's still lots that you can do to perhaps, convert that into a full on acceptance. But from the schools, it means they're saying, hey, we believe that you have the, quantitative, professional, just sort of presence to be able to, excel in this program. And really, once people are in the program, it's not like, sometimes some of the most amazing people are people who came off the wait list. So, being selected to the wait list means that the school is seeing in you great promise. And should they need to, look at their roster of any kind of that they're looking to you to be able to be a great addition to the class.
So they're saying, we like you, and if the
Yes.
opportunity comes along, we'd love to let you in.
Yes.
But space concerns are space concerns. You can know that so many students in.
It's space concerns. And sometimes it's also, this is where, they're always looking to balance at the very end of the class to make sure that they're hitting certain targets. It could be, they're trying to get to a certain GMAT score. So in a particular situation, perhaps someone who has a super high GMAT score, but perhaps some other part of their application wasn't in the same level, maybe they're going to grab that person. Or it could be that there's, they're looking at the class and they're trying to hit a certain target of women or a certain target of people from a certain country. So that piece of it, you also can't take it super personally, because it could also still be that, that whatever flavor you are is not the flavor that they need to grab to kind of balance out the class. But they are absolutely saying that you are, we know you have the potential to be successful here.
Okay, so let's talk about what it's like from the school's perspective. So somebody managing that wait list on the admissions committee has this list of names.
Yes.
So, and you've been that person,
yes.
managing that list of names and
with little profile snippets, kind of across the board of, test scores, GPA, school that they went to, years of work, all of that. That's all sort of being factored in.
So when you're that person managing the wait list and it turns out that there's 2 new spots that opened up.
Right.
What does that feel like? What are you doing? How are you processing that list of names? How do you prioritize people? What goes through your mind when somebody says, in the middle of a day when you probably have plenty of other things you need to be doing too, and you're managing that wait list, and somebody says, hey, Donna, go get us 2 more names. How do you go about making that determination? What goes through your head?
Right. Well, so, and this is where schools really, it's a relation. So usually when you're on the wait list, there's somebody, there's a relationship manager, there's somebody that you are in contact with, that you keep in touch with. And so I think it's really important to sort of build that relationship in the right way along the way, because they're kind of feeling out even in how you behave on that list, in terms of, are you sending the updates that are being asked? Are you kind of checking, sort of doing the things that the school is asking you to do? And then, so usually there's like a group of people, you're like, this is the group that, is sort of going to get the call next. Right. And so
those are folks that have been active during the waitlist process, first and foremost.
Yes.
And so it sounds like what you're saying is that those are the people who have already said, either directly or indirectly, maybe more through their actions than overtly, they're saying, hey, if you call me, I want to be here.
Yeah. And I can't stress that part enough. Like that was something that I really wanted to know as an admissions person, because I don't want to waste an offer on someone that is just looking to collect trophies. I think sometimes, and that's something that people have to, I think sometimes people get so far into this that they forget to ask themselves, do I even want this? And really don't even bother doing this just for kicks. You can save the school trouble, you can save yourself trouble, so that the people on the wait list really should be people who truly want to go there. And there are a lot of ways that you can get that information out. I liked to see it in writing. So if I saw it in writing in an email, so in an update of some kind, I always advise my clients when they're writing it, let's get that right up in the, first paragraph. Like, I am really excited. And if I was to get an offer, I'm there. Like, you don't have to wonder about, or this is my top choice. And again, I would say, that should be the school that's your top choice. You don't want to say that everywhere. Admissions people know each other. They're on the road together. And so, not that they're, I think you could really damage your credibility but for the school where you're like, this is really where I want to go, you need to let them know. You can also let them know if you are visiting the school and, you happen to maybe go to an admission session, and you could say, if you have 5 minutes, I'd love to stop by and just say hello. And in that, make it indelibly clear that, I'm ready to come here. I'm ready to sign up. This is something I want to do. So I think I got to the question there.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that the number one thing, so list of names, maybe a very bleary-eyed admissions officer looking at this list, tons of other things competing for your attention. Number one thing that's going to turn your name into something three-dimensional and meaningful that pops at the top of the list is this a familiar character? Is this somebody that's been in touch and has said, yes, I want to be here, and said it genuinely, one way or the other, directly or indirectly, and has done all of the things to make it very, very clear by, whatever updates the school asks for, they've been doing that, whatever updates make sense, visits if possible, basically any way you can keep in touch and be a three-dimensional familiar figure who's clearly invested in that particular school.
Yeah. And I would also say it's something that, schools like people who are self-aware. So really, when you're on the wait list, do that, really do your own, what do I think might be the weakest part of my application that I might be able to improve? So some people don't want to do this. They just, I took the test. And it's, if someone's taken the test 5 times and they're taking 2 tests, there's a point where you just have to say, this is who I am and this is what I've done. But if you've taken a test 1 or 2 times and your score is a little softer in one of the areas, and, you get on the wait list in January or maybe you're even round 1 and you've got a couple of months, you can, the school can say, hey, I'm willing to do something unpleasant perhaps for me, which is to put myself through this again. And even if you don't improve your score, I think that the school, knowing that you were willing to do that, to show, hey, I'm really, I'm aware that this is something that I could work on. It could also be, I'm aware that, I had perhaps a background that was in liberal arts and I don't have as much quantitative skills. So I'm willing to sign up for the MBA math course or do a UCLA extension course or some kind of graded course in, accounting or statistics or calculus or something, so that whatever it is that is giving the school, pause or just made you perhaps less competitive to someone else who had that, for you to have the awareness that I'm using this time on the wait list, not just to kind of check my portal every day to see if it's moved, but to actually, think about what I need and what I can do to demonstrate to the school, maybe even have success at work, dive in fully to the project you're in, or dive in fully to the extracurricular that you're in, and then be able to talk about how you have enhanced some kind of your leadership profile. So
it sounds like the lowest hanging fruit, obviously. So you're on the wait list.
Mhm.
Lowest hanging fruit is it's that communication, it's that engagement, it's continue to go to info sessions, visit the school if you can, be in touch with your point of contact on the admissions committee. Second, not necessarily less importantly, but it's being aware of your application. What are your weaknesses in the short run of the wait list? So you might be getting waitlisted in the spring, school starts in the fall, maybe you only have a few months.
Mhm.
Maybe there's only so much you can do at work. If there's something you can do,
Right.
you get a promotion, by all means, you don't let the school know
Let
about
them
it.
know. Mhm.
But typically the thing that is most actionable in that time frame would be retaking a test, or if you need
Mhm.
more background in math, taking something like MBAMath.com. And I think what you're suggesting is even if you don't improve your score,
Right.
just sending the message that I care enough to do this and I'm aware enough of my weaknesses to do this. It sounds like you're saying
Yes.
that that can be enough to move the needle.
Yes, absolutely. It puts you in a positive light. It shows the qualities that schools like to see, which is sort of grit, resilience. I also wanted to add, just for each school, following directions and just paying attention is cannot be understated. So there are some schools that require, really don't want anything. We just want you to check the box and say yes, that we're other schools are saying, no, we want you to put together sort of a thoughtful, here's where I am now. Or they might ask for that in a month, whatever they ask for. Some schools will accept additional recommendations or letters of not recommendations, but like reference letters of support, additional letters of support. Some will not. You can overdo that. You do not need to go to a school visit and let's say you meet 5 people but you didn't have great interact, maybe, 4 of them were just, pleasant, but there was nothing in that interaction that was really substantive. Asking 5 people to write a letter to the admissions committee on your behalf could actually do more harm than good. So it's that awareness of when is too much and when is just right. But if you have a meaningful connection or you reach out to a student ambassador and you have a good connection and they may, in fact, uh, unsolicited, just send a good letter of, good word to the admissions committee. So it's really using your EQ quite a bit when you're on that wait list to do, you know, like the whatever Goldilocks with the porridge, too hot, too cold, just right. You really want to get into that spot where you are not annoying and yet not showing enough interest so that the school thinks that this is something you want.
And I'm going to ask this really pointedly just because we get the question so often from our waitlisted applicants. Any more advice on how to not be annoying? Because that's one of the top
Yeah.
fears we run into. It's like, yeah, there's the general, hey, what do I do? And that advice is out there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think plenty of folks are giving the general advice that you're offering here, which is, hey, offer updates when they're appropriate, retake the test if appropriate, continue to participate in networking opportunities, info sessions, campus visits, whatever you can do that makes sense.
Yes.
So we meet a lot of applicants that come to us and say, I understand I should be doing all that. How can I avoid being annoying?
Yeah. So, and this is, I'm thinking people I remember, if someone's emailing me like every 2 days or even every week, it's too, admissions people have overflowing emails. Everywhere they go, there's getting follow-ups, they're, uh, so you don't want to just clog their email with all kinds of, barrages when they're unsolicited. So that could be annoying. If you come to the school and you just walk into the admissions director's office, or something, walk past, sort of security or whatever, and kind of just show up. That's too much, right? It could be that you call ahead and let someone know at the desk, I'm going to be here. If there's anybody in the admissions team that would like to, that I could just share how much I'm excited, that's great. Asking directly the student ambassadors or the people that you're meeting, especially if there's multiple of them, will you fill out a recommendation for me, or will you fill out a positive review when it hasn't been organically earned? So, one thing that you can do to just make a good impression is just think about how can I be helpful to the people I'm meeting? So let's say you're visiting, school and you're meeting someone and you happen to come from consulting and they are wanting to get into consulting. You might be able to offer a follow-up article or something that's, could be useful to them in terms of making a connection for them in recruiting. Like, think about how you can be helpful to whoever you're talking to with no expectation that anything will happen. And in that, you're demonstrating to them, I'm going to be, a supportive teammate. I'm going to be someone that adds value to the community. I'm going to be pleasant to be around. It should go without saying. And for the most part, I think this is something that most people do. But, every person that you meet. So if you're the person who is, at the reception desk, welcoming you, they matter. Treat them just, if not better, than you would treat someone who's the admissions director if you happen to meet that person. Be thoughtful, smile, and it's not something that, again, trying too hard would be, you do not need to order, I don't know, a giant sheet cake and, show up to the school with kind of like, every now and then, maybe something, if it's thoughtful and small, but this is not like, you should not be under the impression that you're trying to bribe the school to get in, or that, through food or tickets or through influence or something like that. So be careful about trying to sort of bulldoze your way in, with, in using your privilege, if you will, if you happen to have that, to think that I'm just going to be able to, get people tickets to this, and I'm going to just be really, that's not what the admissions team is looking for. So don't overpower.
So you're looking for genuine, not excessive,
Yes.
and being really aware of, when it's too much, and just being respectful, not showing up unannounced, thinking about how many emails would you want in your inbox.
Yes. And being, that's where I think we had a conversation about this before we were going live about, don't send them one thing every 2 days. Maybe save up, make a little file of, okay, the next time I reach out, or I'm asked to give an update, or I just want to check in, let me, I did get this promotion at work, or this particular thing that was in my application has come to fruition, and our results are this. I have talked to 3 more people, and I'm specifically really excited about the leadership development programs because I talked to this person. So really give that detail to show that while you've been on the wait list, you've been using that time wisely to keep learning, and that what you're finding out is continuing to be, encourage you to make this decision. I don't think, another thing we didn't touch on yet is just the timing. That's another thing, just logistically, that a school would need to know is kind of at what date do you, it could be that if you live in the same town at the school, and you might say, I've decided, actually, I've seen this with clients in the past do this. I've decided if I don't get into this school, this is my top choice, I'm just going to continue to work for another year, but I'm going to be in this, I'm already in the town. I'm able to, be flexible here. And so if you have an opening that comes later, I'm actually available, because there comes a point where the school, just through logistics, through international with visa and things, there are going to be some people that will, they can really only be on the wait list until, maybe May. And then it's just,
so getting to first a last minute opening. So sometimes what happens, and I think we both have crazy stories about people we've worked with who were driving to one program, they get a call from another one, and they're willing to lose the deposit.
Yes.
So last minute openings happen, possibly up to a couple days before school starts.
Yes.
So if that's something that's actually plausible for you, if you would accept the offer at the last possible second, I think what you're saying is make sure the school knows that.
Yeah.
Because boy, in that last crazy week or two, or a few weeks, it may be the case that there's some last second spots open. And if they know who's most likely to accept it, you'd be more likely to get that call if you've already expressed that.
Yeah. And in some ways, that position is really a great position for the person who has perhaps decided that this is where I want to be. And if not, my, backup is I'm going to do it again next year. Because I think there is I think all the schools have great empathy for their colleagues who are also holding people on their wait list, and probably does not take any joy in yanking someone else from another program 2 days before their program starts either. I think all kinds of things happen, but I think there's some that schools will respect people that are saying, this is my, scenario, and I'm willing to, I'm that person that it would be a great fit for you to take me last minute if a spot does come available.
Perfect. So in our next video, Donna, we're going to ask you to describe the best bribes that you received as an admissions officer. Just kidding. Okay. Probably a good time to wrap up. Donna, anything else you'd like people on the wait list or who are worried about the wait list as offers start coming in? Any last things you'd like them to know?
I think just first of all, congratulate, feel good about it. Choose to see it from the sort of glass half full perspective. And there's a lot of good things that can happen. And in all of this, you really can't take any of this personally, even though it feels personal and it can feel that way. But you got to remember that school is you're not sitting there looking at all the spreadsheets and saying, again, there may be through nothing that you can control, just the class needs rebalancing and you're not the piece that fits the balance for what they need. But what you can, it's like control the controllables, right? So control, if there's something in your profile that needs to be done, do it. If, let them know in a nice way that you're open to it. Just do those things and be pleasant and smile and treat people the way you'd want to be treated. And it reminds me of a story. I was talking to a young man that was on the waitlisted booth last spring, and he was so diligent about, following the rules and kind of giving the updates. And he did put himself through, additional testing, was able to get his quant score up 2 points, did all the right things. And I told him, you've done everything right. And when you least expect it, that's when you're going to get the call. And then it was a Friday afternoon and I least expected it at that point. And I was just so happy. So there is movement. And I do think in the last couple of years, there's been more movement in the wait list because, lots of things happen. And so, yeah, just be positive and control what you can control. And then also be realistic and make your next best plan, whatever that is,
It's perfect. I love it. Donna, thank you so much for doing this. Donna, Stratus Admissions, one of my favorite people. Call her. You need admissions help. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.